Welcome back to Crystal Clear! I'm UltraVox, and we have a brand new look at Steven Universe Future, with the first official sneak peek making rounds over on the internet. This teaser showcases a whole lot of pink, and even includes a brief highlight of one of my favorite gems, someone who I just could not shut up about the last few months, Jasper. So as always, let's run through this insane teaser, breaking it down frame by pink frame, to find all the little extra details and try to piece together just what the hell is going on. And I can't help but to get a little emotional because this is our last first look at a brand new season of Steven Universe. Well, until an inevitable spinoff or a streaming continuation comes to fruition. And of course, spoiler warning, if you do not want to know a single thing about Steven Universe Future, beyond what any social media posts or thumbnails have given away, then please click off now. With all that said, let's dive in. As we jump right into this trailer, Steven now drives Greg's Dondai that was purchased sometime before the events of the episode Beach City Drift with Greg's newfound wealth during the third season. With Steven now being 16 years old, it's only natural he would seek out more privileges that he can take full advantage of as a human. Complete with popping in cassette tapes because this baby is vintage. Though I wonder if he actually has a driver's license and how any of that works, considering the Crewniverse has mentioned in the past that Steven is technically off the grid in terms of a birth certificate. Maybe he got it all worked out off screen during the time skip. The finger swing of the keys also comes to mind 3 gems in the baby. With the Dondai, Steven is able to score a new pink uncorrupted gem to Little Homeworld, which is now finished with its construction and standing taller than ever. It's really come a long way since the events of Steven Universe the movie, where it was only 83.7% complete. Assuming Steven is still 16, I would guesstimate this limited epilogue to be a few months, if not close to a year after the film, which would pave the way for a third and final birthday episode where Steven turns 17. Come on, Crewniverse, complete the trilogy! Now already, this pink gem is theorized to be a rose quartz. It's already pretty obvious they're a quartz of some kind, from their build to their hair, but during the scene with Garnet's yoga class, or potentially a class on fusion dances, which I'd also believe, we can make out the gemstone to be seemingly identical to Steven's and his mother, complete with a navel placement. It's not hard to believe rose quartzes were made on Earth, as there had to be some credence to Pink Diamond's facade, and certainly at least a few had to be caught in the corruption attack. Plus, thematically, this gem being a rose quartz aligns with other snippets we receive in this sneak peek that hints towards Steven's arc, a final identity crisis of sorts. But more on that later. In Garnet's yoga class, we can spot all familiar faces. Our beloved Topaz fusion, last seen influenced by Aquamarine to bring Steven to his trial after being threatened by the blue gem. Topaz is finally here on Earth, and I feel fulfilled on my 2-year dream of her interacting with Garnet by being a part of this exercise. We also have a Nephrite, who helped with the construction of Little Homeworld and whose full gemstone name was revealed on the Steven Universe movie DVD in the Happily Ever After animatic, but no one has been able to decipher exactly what that name is yet. Even I spent a quick minute trying to find it with no avail. Oh, the hard life of an analytical nerd. That being said, other gems include Zebra Jasper, not the fusion, Lace Amethyst, and a Ruby who may just be a casual soldier from Homeworld, as there's no visible gemstone present, but it could also be a member of the assumably now disbanded Ruby Squadron, options for that being either Leggy or Army. Vidalia appears to be hosting figure drawing classes in Little Homeworld, with Yellow Pearl as the model. Blue Pearl's depiction is spot on, though that should be a given with her role in Homeworld's court system. Another Nephrite is spotted doing her best, and although we can't see their drawings, Crazy Lace and Crab Monster seem to be invested in this hobby as well. Side note, I hope we get an actual gemstone name for Crab Monster because calling them Crab Monster just feels, kinda rude. Figure drawing can be an integral component to the development of one's art skills, and I highly recommend taking a class if you haven't already. Just get ready to draw the naked elderly. Lots of naked old people. We also see the inside of Business New Forge, previously spotted near the town square of Little Homeworld during the film. The Heaven and Earth beetles are chilling on Business' arm, so I think we can infer they're either just happy to witness the process, or whatever Bismuth is forging is actually meant for them. As Bismuth puts some elbow grease into an unidentifiable work in progress, we see Steven and the pink gem observing, and I'm gonna be honest, I'm pretty suspicious of this gem. Assuming most of this promo is all from the first episode, which the abundance of rough draft Korea supports, Future from a narrative standpoint is likely going to go straight into the rising action. So considering what we see later in the promo with a few antagonists rearing their head, isn't it pretty coincidental timing that Steven assumably brings his gem from Homeworld to Earth with the galaxy warp attached to his house, and suddenly enemies are creeping not too far behind? All I'm saying is, don't trust this gem just yet. It's possible her interest in Earth, in Little Homeworld, observing their society, could actually be employed to distract Steven, while the other gems launch their plan in motion. Like imagine Steven finishes this tour. He asks this gem, "What do you think?" And she goes, "I think it's disgusting." And suddenly, oh, we have a new villain. We're conditioned by the narrative to inherently trust all crypto gems, as Steven's goal throughout most of the series was to save them. But considering Jasper wasn't that grateful to be saved, we should not blindly trust every single one of them. Especially considering our track record with naval gems, a backstabbing uncorrupted gem would not surprise me in the slightest. I also want to make note of Steven's voiceover, saying, "Life is a little different these days. We're all safe to explore our dreams." There's two things I want to focus on in this sentence, and it's the word safe and the concept of everyone exploring their dreams. After appeasing the diamonds and changing their minds, Steven was able to dismantle the Empire and liberate Gemkind. Afterwards, there's no threat to the Crystal Gem's way of life that Steven has now universally spread. If new enemies proposed a different ideology to Steven, he suddenly would feel as if the values he introduced to Homeworld are in danger. I just find it interesting that they chose the word safe, as it guarantees that things won't be so peachy keen for much longer. As for the chance to explore our dreams, what exactly is Steven's dream? It feels like he should be living his dream every day, by connecting others to their emotions and feelings, things that they were unaware of prior. But what happens when the number of people he can help hits zero? What becomes his dream, his purpose in life? This is a question I feel we should remember throughout the entirety of this epilogue series. As we see Bismuth's forge, flashes of a disturbing image invade the screen. Steven's head, hair, and hands engulfed in a pink hue in front of shattered glass that parallels the vision of his mother in Jungle Moon. Steven covering his mouth in shock. If I had to guess, he uncharacteristically smashed the surface in front of him. Potential teen angst that's amplified and much more complex as a half-human, half-gem hybrid. This appears to be the first time Steven views himself in this state, which looks to be properly introduced later in this teaser. Shocked at the appearance and the deeper implications that maybe he's not as at peace with himself as he once believed. That his identity crisis, being torn between the identity of Steven Universe and Pink Diamond, may have one final piece of the puzzle. We'll elaborate on this in a second, but for those who recall me rooting for Steven to have a Super Saiyan-like transformation, advocating for a pink hue shift for ages, you can only imagine how hyped I am. Although it seems this would be less of a Super Saiyan transformation and more of a TKO Nine-Tailed Fox situation. Next up, Steven lays his hand to a diamond control panel in an unknown blue tinted area, though it's one that aligns with the backdrop of the title card at the end of this teaser. That, prior to the title card showing up, appears to be the room of the Crystal Heart, which seemingly powers down, shifting the room's palette from reds to blues. This created an epiphany of sorts in my brain. Jasper referred to the temple in The Return as Rose Quartz's base, and now with a diamond control panel seemingly in the same room as the Crystal Heart, we may have another recontextualizing reveal on the way. Although it is important to note that the details on the floor do differ from what we've seen in the show prior, but the last time we saw this room was catch and release, so a slight redesign or extra detail could explain that. Yet, what if, this entire time, the Crystal Temple didn't just become a diamond base after the time skip, a product of Steven embracing his heritage? What if it was always a diamond base? A lair for Pink Diamond, Garnet and Amethyst completely unaware, and over time it was transformed into the Crystal Gem headquarters, and then later transformed into Steven's home, and now brought full circle as both a home and a diamond base. And thus, within this room, within the purpose of the Crystal Heart that will now be revealed, a major revelation could await Steven. Something that can blow our minds and completely change our view of the series, or something we thought we knew about the series. Moving on to the more juicy bits, a pink door slides open, revealing a rose Quartz soldier, which does appear to be wearing an actual Quartz soldier uniform, much like Pink's masqueraded form. In fact, They're pretty much identical. Now this could be a flashback, but I think something else is going on here. I believe Steven is beginning to have hallucinations of his mother, which correlates to his gem half taking over and tapping into his pink Steven alter ego. A few shots later, we see Rose's message to Steven on the television in his room as he rushes to turn it off. Yet notice he doesn't eject the tape, although it could cut off right before that happens. I think the reason being is because the tape isn't actually in the television. It's not actually playing. It's all in his head. I wouldn't be surprised if Steven does eject the message from the television and it turns out it's a different tape entirely, or nothing was in the television the entire time. And while he's driving this uncorrupted gem to Little Homeworld, I'd wager the cassette he puts in will suddenly interject his mother's voice into the track, startling him and disrupting the drive. So this Rhodes Quartz soldier could be another illusion he encounters as he visits the zoo, or, to subvert expectations, we the audience and Steven may be led to believe this is an illusion, his mind playing tricks on him, only for it to turn out that this is an actual Rose Quartz gem. Going off the expression on her face, not exactly thrilled to have been falsely bubbled for 6,000 years, and now is a part of the allegiance of gems that are turning against Steven and the diamonds. Moving on, Steven covers his ears in pain in what appears to be a location on Homeworld. The background reminds me of Blue Diamond's extraction chamber, and the 2 diamond bases we've seen that aren't Steven's house, but I think it's safe to put our bets on a new location that has a correlation to Pink Diamond's past. Steven's pain here could actually lead him to smashing the glass and seeing his pink hue reflection, as if the form unsuppresses itself from Steven's subconscious. But why would this happen? What would trigger Steven to end up here and then later here? Well, we immediately see the answer. Pink Pearl is seen reminiscing of Pink Diamond lovingly, which reveals that she still has much compassion for her late diamond. But notice how Pink Diamond is stylized in the fashion of the Your Mother and Mine flashbacks. A story that we know was a lie, a false depiction of events. Utilizing that style here communicates that Pink Pearl is in love with the idea of Pink Diamond. The version of Pink that she remembers and adores is far removed from the real deal. I don't think this is just a trip down memory lane, but instead an unhealthy obsession. Pink Pearl will be one of the gems who are unable to come to terms with who Pink Diamond really was, and that she's gone for good, and may take issue if Steven and Pearl try to burst that bubble. This is overlaid with the next piece of dialogue. Soon we'll all be able to put the past behind us. Another clue to the arc and message of Steven Universe Future. Pink Pearl and Steven's enemies are living in the past, something Steven has no desire to continue doing after all he's been through. However, Steven may grow into a nasty mindset of outright rejecting the past and any association he carries with it, because he knows he's not his mother, and proved as much to the diamonds. So now any further association is just an irritation, an annoyance. Steven seemed to embrace his mother and who she was, going by the flowers in his greenhouse diamond base and the reframed photo, but it's evident the idea of a child taking after their parent doesn't sit well with him considering everything Pink Diamond has done, especially since Steven would rather take after Greg, picking up the acoustic guitar and donning a similar black shirt. Here, the real star of the show enters. The kindergarten Quartz who could, Jasper, reveals herself from hiding underneath a tarp. The lighting is at sunset. In fact, it's close to the same palette as the one used in the opening theme song for Future, but the location is unknown. I would assume it's either near Little Homeworld or Steven's house, but another location could also be the Beta Kindergarten. Though I do have my doubts, as the surfaces in that area carry more reds than what we see here. Going off the newly formulated theory of the pink gem Steven shows around Little Homeworld being a plant by Jasper, it's entirely possible Jasper follows Steven and the gem, and using her good old war tactics, hid in plain sight until it was time to reveal herself, revealing an ambush onto Steven, Beach City, and Little Homeworld with her rebellion, another member of which we'll see very soon. While we could deduce this from the opening, we can now completely confirm Jasper has a brand new reformation, with her torso design and her feet altering since her appearance in Change Your Mind. As you guys know, I did speculate that Jasper could have been the one responsible for Bismuth's new form, and I think this adds more fuel to that fire. They both could have poofed each other in combat off-screen over the 2-year time skip, potentially as a result of Bismuth protecting Lapis from Jasper. Also, Jasper lacks her face stripes in this shot. Rough draft, you slippin'. Pink Pearl's cracked eye spreads in damage, as she sports a blank stare similar to when she was under the control of White Diamond. While I'm sure the creep vibes are intentional, I imagine it ties into her longing for Pink Diamond. Her crack may be anchored to her attachment to Pink, and thus worsening, or it could have been from being underneath White's control for so long, being quote-unquote bleached, sustaining damage like real life pearls. I'm leaning towards Pink Pearl's missing eye being tied into a currently unknown event with Pink Diamond that may make us even less fond of Pink and being more concerned about this pearl's well-being and investment into her late diamond. And that she's rejecting having the crack healed as it's a scar that reminds her of Pink. It's all she has left. Going off the background, I deduce that this is the same location where Steven winces in pain and later discovers his pink hue. Perhaps Pink Pearl is one of the last remaining gems that view Steven as Pink Diamond, which causes Steven to spiral. We get another beautiful shot of Jasper, fist balled, taking a leap at someone, laughing like a maniac. Now we of course can assume she's leaping at Steven, which I believe ties into another sequence at the end of this promo that we'll elaborate on in a moment, because we have to talk about how the Famethus is back and inside the human zoo, which guarantees we'll see the fates of Holly Blue Agate, the Zoomins, and the Bubble Rose Quartz gems. Notice their expressions go from happy mid-conversation to immediately diverting their attention to something that kills the mood. If I had to make bets, it would be related to the aforementioned Rose Quartz gems, Holly Blue Agate, or Jasper. Any of which could try to turn the tables on the zoo and endanger the Zoomins with sinister motives. This next one, I'm not gonna lie, it kinda shook me a bit. We have confirmation that the Aquamarine Ruby fusion is indeed comprised of former antagonist Aquamarine and Eyeball, complete with buck teeth. And it seems they infiltrated Steven's house. It's heavily speculated that this fusion is named Pietersite, and at this point I have no reason to doubt that is the case, as the real-life gemstone is pretty spot on. With the look of this fusion no longer obscured by shadows and glowing eyes, I can 100% say they remind me a lot of an initial fusion who doesn't have everything together just yet, reflected in their two dominating colors, just like Cotton Candy Garnet. Now their appearance in Steven's home could just be deceit, as they trick Steven and the gems into a false sense of security, but considering the new galaxy warp is attached to Steven's house, I would wager they simply took a shortcut and wanted to strike where Steven least expected it, his own home. I'm definitely eager to see more of this fusion and their abilities sooner rather than later. Now, to the Pink Gem's credit, the shot is her opening her eyes, which are full of heart lights and sparkles, so maybe Steven helps her out, or maybe that's just a dramatic way of her taking in all the beauty of little Homeworld and Earth. We'll have to wait and see. Back to this unknown Homeworld location, our Pearl shields Pink Pearl from destruction as smoke fills the room. Once again, I'm assuming this could be a result of Pink Steven's teen angst taking over. Considering the direction Pearl is looking at, it seems as if she'd be staring down at Steven. I'm pretty sold on the idea that Pink Pearl is projecting onto Steven, maybe even referring to him by name as Pink Diamond, and it causes Steven to snap and lash out. Alternatively, it could be an ambush from one of the rebelling gems. But let's say it is Steven. Why is his pink half lashing out? That takes us to the end of this promo, with whom we can assume to be Jasper placing her foot onto Steven, attempting to crush his body, but Steven fights back, tearing up as his face and hands glow, transforming into the pink Steven-like state we saw earlier in this trailer. Even Jasper's foot gets some hue action going on as Steven tries to push her off, grabbing her foot. Now the background here matches up with the green and brown of the next shot, indicating that this is in fact Steven's house. Jasper stating, "You are not my diamond," feeds into the idea that the pink Steven half of our hero is not fond of the constant comparisons and ideology of Pink Diamond. After all, Pink Steven's only line of dialogue thus far is, "She's gone!" A line that he screamed to the heavens, showing that he is fed up with being compared to his mother. He has the gemstone, but he doesn't have the personality. Pink Diamond is gone, and Pink Steven seems as if he wants everyone to know that. So Pink Pearl longing for Pink and projecting, Jasper stating Steven is not her diamond, seeing his mother everywhere, it's all getting to Steven, and more importantly, the half of himself that despises the notion that he is Pink Diamond. This angst comes from the fact that we already settled who Steven is once and for all, so even a statement along the lines of, "You're just like your mother," can set him off. which spirals into the aggression Pink Steven displays, something that is so unlike Steven, to get angry, to get violent. Steven's human half, his emotions and who he is as a person, was previously able to restrain that. But perhaps when White Diamond split Steven into two, when the two remerged together, it wasn't a perfect realignment, and now Steven really is in two separate personalities. And he has to find himself, make peace with himself in order to be whole again. And honestly, I just hope for an actual battle between Pink Steven and Jasper, as Steven leaps into the air with his shield equipped. With Steven now being older and having scarily violent tendencies, alongside two prominent action boarders on the show, Mickey, Brewster, and Etienne, I don't want to mess up your last name, I think there's a few spectacles that we can have in this series. But as always, these are just my thoughts and I want to hear yours. What do you think? What are your thoughts on Steven Universe Future? How excited are you to get your hands on this limited epilogue series? And are you sad that it's the end? Like, the first episode we get, that season premiere, that's the final season premiere we're going to get in the Steven Universe franchise. Again, until an inevitable spinoff or HBO Max continuation. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below or tweet your thoughts at Roundtable Vids. And for more of my own thoughts, you can find me at MikeCatSU. We're also on Instagram. Help Roundtable grow by either becoming a member of this channel or supporting us over at Patreon. Link in the description. And if you enjoyed this video, please sort of like and subscribe to the Roundtable for more great cartoon content. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have an awesome day. MikeCatSU signing out.